Hey guys, Mopar Man back with another project. I don't know, repair more or less. I got my 2014 Charger Pursuit here. Long story short, went to go try to change the oil on it, and the threads in the pan started to come out. So, I knew immediately, that's like, nope, I'm not dealing with this kind of moment. I don't want to spend my whole Sunday on the driveway. I want to be with my family. So, put the bolt right back in. Been driving my wife's SUV to work. I said, okay, let me bring it in and let me try to do like a quick fix, and that'll get me till parts come in, which parts arrived earlier than expected. So I'm going to show you all the parts. And most of you know, okay, oil. It's an aluminum oil pan. The threads have literally come out. There's nothing left of the threads. It all came out with the bolt. I'll show you right now. That is the threads. So, with that being said, I was like, okay. Went on Amazon, looked up a bunch of different kits. They have kits where it comes with a reamer, then a tap, then you can tap for a new, bigger threaded bolt. I was like, alright, metal shavings in the pan, not exactly fan of it. They say, oh, run half a quart through, it'll get it out. No, I'm not dealing with all of that. Because at this point, I'll go from spending, I'll be honest, I spent about $1,000 plus on the new stuff to putting a whole new motor in it if I left metal shavings in there. So let's get to the juicy stuff. What I did is I drained the oil. I'm loosening up the motor mount bolts because you're going to need to loosen those motor mount bolts up, and you're going to have to just drop it. You don't have to disconnect anything, just drop the whole power steering system. And then you are able to jack up the engine and transmission from the transmission point underneath, and that'll give you enough lift with everything out of the way to get that pan out. There's a couple of YouTube videos that kind of show you how to do it. I'm going to do it. But the biggest thing is install of new stuff. So let me show you the new stuff. So I said, hey, we're going to put a new pan in this. Why put a stock pan? Why not go with something aftermarket, something cooler, something that holds a little more oil? So searched Summit Racing, as you see the shirt, and found Moroso. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, so forgive me for pronouncing it wrong. Found that they have oil pans. And I said, let me go to their manufacturer's website and let me see what they have. I went, I put my engine in, started looking at stuff, and wouldn't you know it, they have two pans. They have two pans that it's a front sump. Now remember, on these Chargers, you have a deep front sump on these cars, and so I said, okay, here's two pans, and one was like drag racing one, and then one was like supposed to be street. On their website, they have it listed differently. On Summit's website, it says, the one that I ordered says it's for street and strip, meaning like, you know, you got your daily driver, also somebody who takes it to the drag strip occasionally. So it's an 11-quart Moroso pan, and I'm going to go get that. And this thing is very nice. I love the way it looks. Looks really dope. So here's the pan. Stainless steel, of course. And I'm going to pick up new bolts from Dodge to put into this. I may go with like you know, stainless steel, but I don't have a lot of time because it's in my daily driver, and right now I'm using my wife's car. I'm just very lucky that she's home, so I need to get this done this week. So here's what the pan looks like, and I can tell you from scouring the internet and YouTube that really no one has done an install of this pan on this Charger. No one's done a video of it, so I'm going to do it, and we're going to do it together. So I got the stock gasket from Rock Auto. I just went with the generic brand oil pan gasket, windage tray. I got the new one in. This pan comes with the dipstick tube here on the passenger side. It comes with the port for the oil, for a sensor or whatever you want it to be. I ordered an oil temp sensor, and that won't be coming until about, I think what it says is November. Just, I guess, back order. You got your drain right here. And then they have another fitting here that they say you could use it for, like, you know, the return line of, like, say, from a supercharger or, I guess, turbos. The oil return line could come into here instead of, I guess, tapping it somewhere else in the car. Didn't see this, but there's a flapper in here. I guess they did something in here, but I don't know what the flapper's for. There's two of them. I guess it prevents the sloshing, maybe. There's three of them. Oh, I didn't even see that. All right, I will try to get an answer for you. There's a little flappers in here. I'm examining this the first time as much as you are. You can see all the welds done. Hopefully they did a really good job and I don't have any holes in it or anything like that, but you know, you got welds on the outside too, so no worries. I wish they would supply bolts that would work with these motors. That is my only gripe, I could say, honestly. But with that being said, I'll put this down. Now, you got the pan. Of course, you got to get the pickup tube, right? So, ordered the pickup tube. This is a deeper one. So this will comes with the O-ring, and this will fit into the oil pump, and it'll sit lower in the sump, so it'll grab more of that cooler oil. I didn't open it yet, but there's also a dust tray that you have to get because the stock aluminum pans have this brace sort of built into it that comes up to the transmission, and so you're going to remove all of that, and the whole point is once you put this back in, you got to put that dust cover on so it protects the transmission and dirt from getting into the bell housing and behind the torque converter. So altogether, I spent a little bit of a pretty penny. Not something I wanted to spend, but I figured, hey, if I'm going to do an oil pan, I might as well upgrade. That's how most of us car guys think anyway, right? So that's what I did. So when you come back, right now I just dumped the oil, and that was the bolt. The bolt literally just started unthreading, and so back to the original story anyway. What I was trying to do is if I could get away with using my car for a couple more days till I had some days off coming up, I was trying to put a RTV sealant just around the bolt head and then try to drive it in. Not pulling it fully out, just enough where I could put RTV around it and then drive it in, and it would seat and then it would dry and it would hold, kind of like how you have, you know, the RTV sealant on a differential cover. Unfortunately, that didn't work, and in the sense that it didn't work because all the threads just decided they weren't going to come out, and it wasn't going to tighten up, and everything was just gone. So I said, forget it. I'm not going to deal with it. So, new pan, sump pump cover, I got dust shields, I got oil, I got all sorts of stuff that I need to do this project with. So I just wanted to give you a bit of an intro, a bit of what we're going to do. Follow along. Now, one thing I will leave you off on, and when you come back I'll show you. The motor mounts, you can get 1, 2, 3 here. Okay, 2 on the driver's side and 1 on the passenger side from the top. The back one in the passenger side, you're not going to be able to get from the top because the angle is just too tight, and even though I have a long extension with a swivel, the bolts are sort of if you're looking at it, they're sort of angled like this, inward like this. So what I did is you're able to get your hands actually in there, and I used a 16 ratcheting wrench and really put some muscle into it and cracked them loose. So all 4 bolts are loose now, but I haven't taken them out. So that's just the upper. That's all you need to do on the upper, and then drain the oil, of course. I got it up on jack stands. So with that being said, we'll get started. When you come back, we'll be pulling the motor mount bolts out. Then we'll get like a block of wood or something with another jack underneath, and we'll start jacking up the motor to get that up in the air as much as we can, because we don't have a lot of space under the firewall there. And then we're going to drop, then we'll go underneath and we'll drop the steering linkage, power steering all together, just drop that whole thing out of the way. And we'll start pulling bolts out and get this pan out of there and get everything, and then set the new gasket, the new sump pump, the whole 9 yards, and go from there. Like I said, no one's really done this, but I did have help from one person on Facebook, because I'm part of a 5.7 Hemi performance group, where people talk about all the performance parts they put on these cars and the boost and all this stuff. So I had asked if anyone done this install, and a guy did respond that he did one on his, I think, 6.1, and really great guy, answered all my questions, because I want to just go in knowing that, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to spend another week having to say, oh, this doesn't fit, now I need to actually get a stock pan and put that back. So he showed me pictures. It was awesome to look at. He went with so many different parts and pieces, definitely aftermarket bolts to bolt up. So we'll get there. We're gonna figure this out. All right, stay tuned, guys. Hey guys, back. So right now what you're looking at is the motor mount on the passenger side. I know you can't see it because there are these bolts sticking out of the way over there, but that's one bolt right there that I'm pointing to. Okay, that you can get from up top, but the back one is the one we're going to start with, and that's the one I have to go from the bottom. So you'll see my hands in there, and you're going to see exactly how to get to it. So you got to get the car up in the air. Of course, jack stands, the whole 9 yards. I also had to get the oil dipstick tube out, and that you're just going to need a hammer and a flathead, just because it's quite a bit of a pain in the ass to pull out. Okay, I'll shift that over. Okay. Alright, you're going to come up right over here, pretty much. Let's see, I'll put this on. Hopefully you guys can see my hand. Now what you gotta do is just feel it up to the bolt. There it is. Okay. And you need, having this flex head ratchet helps because it flexes down, obviously, but and you definitely want it ratcheting. Don't listen to all data in this case, because they say that you should remove the bottom nuts. There are no bottom nuts. The nuts here are welded, so you have to remove it you have to remove the bolt from the top, because the nuts are welded here on the bottom. Sort of finger loose. Okay, coming out. Alright. Yeah, that's it. So alright. Now you'll see me get the other one, which have enough as you can see, the bolts are kind of facing towards the motor, so you want to definitely get what I have, which is a flexible joint. It's these are 15, no 16. These are 16. 16mm bolts, and you definitely need yourself a nice long extension just to get the. Let's see, can I reach down and grab the bolt? Yes, I can. Okay, now I'll move you guys to the other side, and then you can see the motor mount right there. Now the one in the back's a bit of a pain in the butt to get to. You can get to it, but you have to put some severe downforce. Because the flex head part wants to switch and flip-flop all over the place, so it doesn't give you a good grip. So you want to be careful and definitely do it by hand. Don't use any air tools. You don't want to round off the bolt head. Go anywhere, and then we'll get the other one. Which that one's right here in the front. Let's see. That's a lot easier without the airbox in the way. Alright, they fall out, I don't see the need to actually, take them out, because they're there, and, I mean, the front one probably I could get with my hand, probably. I'm not gonna promise anything, and the rear one I'd have to go underneath and get it from the back side, but I'm just gonna leave it alone. Alright, now we got all that loose. The next order of business is we're gonna set our jack up with a piece of wood and get it situated under the transmission, and then I'll get you guys underneath and show you exactly what I did, and we'll get the power steering out. I'll probably lift the motor while I have a chance while I'm up here. Okay, so I will get the jack underneath. On the transmission, I don't know if it's the pan, it might be the bell housing, and then we're gonna lift it up, and as you can see, you don't have a whole lot of room here for the motor to come up, but we're gonna get it as high as possible till it touches here, and then we'll get underneath and we'll remove the bolts that hold the power steering and get that down and out of the way. And once that's down and out of the way, we can start popping the oil pan bolts off. So stay tuned, I'll show you exactly what I did, and we'll go from there. So as you can see from here, I don't know if you can see too well, let's see if we put a light on it. Down there, the motor mounts are off the frame. It's touching up over here. See that? That's touching. So now we'll go underneath and we'll start pulling the power steering off. Okay, we're underneath, as you can see. Try not to show you into the light, but you can see back there. I
put a wood block, and I got my jack, and I actually have the deep style transmission pan from I think it's like PPE, one of those acronyms, and that's, I forget how many quarts over stock. I think it's like 3 quarts over stock, so stock is 6. I think it's like 9 quarts altogether. So I put a piece of wood there, I jacked it up so I could get this. As you can see, this is a lot higher now. Now we're going to remove the power steering rack bolts, which are these two right here. So let's get that started. Let's see what that is. I don't think they're... Let's try a 14. That's a 16. I'm sorry, a 15. Let's see what we get with a 15. 15 it is. Let me there you go. All right. I'm gonna hit it with a little rust penetrator. I can't even tell if it's coming out. I guess not. That comes down. Alright, so I'll show you. Back here, there's a little plate up there. You see that? That's a 10mm sticking out. You remove that, you'll be able to access the 10 millimeters that inside over there. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to remove the big bolts that you see here on the side that come from the back of the transmission pan, and also just hold the, back of the transmission pan, back of the bell housing, and then also hold the oil pan up. So I'm going to remove those and then work my way to the front and get all the get everything out. So that's essentially it. That's how we're removing the oil pan. It's jacked up the motor, we'll remove the motor mounts, drop the front power steering linkage, and then just start removing all the bolts, and everything should come out. I can see my stuff there. Let's see. I'm stuck on my sway bar link. Sway bar. That's what's holding it. There we go. Get that out of the way. Whew. Okay. Now. Man, something still feels like it's holding this pan up, and I got a feeling it's the... Okay. Okay. Oh, this is why we were stuck. So the oh boy, the thing does have to come down with it. I'm gonna show you right now. Here, see that? This piece was holding me up. This metal piece. That's what was keeping it up there. So when I pried it down, it bent a little bit, but that's okay. So you have to remove the pickup tube. You have to remove that and then pull it all out as one. But anyway, maybe I'll fix this pan up and then clean it up and then try to resell it. All right, got the pan out. Right back. That's 13 long. So first you're gonna clean it up. You're gonna get yourself a gasket scraper or a razor blade. You gotta remove the old gasket, apply new sealant, and then put the new gasket on. I keep saying old gasket, I meant the RTV sealant. So you gotta remove that. I'm gonna clean up this whole thing properly so I got a good mating surface, and we'll be right back. So take your time. Okay guys, so ran into a hiccup here. I have on this Charger, which is a Charger Pursuit, it was a cop car, now a civilian car. I have an oil filter cooler, right? You can buy it from Mopar. So I'm assuming it came with the engine. I believe probably most Chargers don't have it. I mean, so I went to look for a relocation kit, seeing if I could make this work. I can't, but luckily enough, in my infinite wisdom, I did order the half piece that goes in the stock location. I will be removing it, but I want to show you why. I'm going to show you. So, if you look at my oil pan, right, what do you notice? I got two big wings or whatnot that stick out on the side of it. So, when I put this in, right, when I put this in, guess what happens? Hopefully you'll be able to see it. Okay. That's what we're looking at. So the oil filter with that piece there brings it right down to this. Now if I remove that and install the stock piece in there, the oil filter will move up further, and I'll actually be able to remove the oil filter on changes. So it sucks, but essentially what you have to do is replace this the lower hose, which has a piece in between the two hoses that branches off with a line that goes to the cooler, and then you have to replace the housing up top, and then of course get yourself a bunch of coolant, because you're going to dump everything out of the radiator once you pop this lower hose off, which if you can save it, great, and I'm going to try, but there's no guarantee of that. But essentially you gotta remove the thing, you gotta remove the cooler, and then the two lines is one line goes to the lower radiator hose, and the other line goes up to the thermostat housing, which has a side piece on it. So you just have to replace the lower hose, the thermostat housing, and then all the coolant that you've lost, and this just essentially comes out. So I'm going to remove the filter, and then you just, I got a 12 millimeter Allen key and a 1/2 inch. It seemed to have gripped it, and I'm going to show you. Well, so this essentially goes all the way through this piece, and then, you know, I put the oil filter back on just so I could show you guys, but essentially it goes through this piece and then into that housing. Now this should just come right off as it does. Okay, see, so that's all it is. It's just the piece there. That is just, so you have to buy, you know, go online to Mopar's site, you have to buy the short version of this. Okay, the short version of this then screws into the stock location up there, and then you're able to put the oil filter up there. Like I said, ordered it thinking that this was my problem with my oil filter leaking a little bit, but hey, it worked out somehow, you know, and like the infinite wisdom, it worked out by luck too, that this just came off. And I'll save this, but I'll be honest with you, I did look at oil filter relocation kits. Now for the charger, it seems to be like, feels like it's non-existent, or you have to get a universal one, and I'm not interested in that. And then the one that they have for the 5.7 Hemi is for a Ram 1500 between 09 and whatever, but realistically they're all 5.7s and they're the same, it'll work. So in my case, I'm not going to spend $180 to try to order that, and then I have to wait for it to get here because I kind of need to get this done. I'm going to just remove this, spend less money, you know, redoing some hoses and the thermostat housing, and then just slap a new filter up there and call it a day. So that's what I'm going to essentially be doing. So for right now, we're going to continue on to putting the sealant on. Then I'm going to layer up the gasket with a light coating of sealant, so that it just so that it'll stick up there and stay up there, and then I'll put in the new tube and we'll go about our day. Then we'll get the pan in, start securing the pan with everything it needs to get done, and yeah, that should fairly be it. That should be it. And then when I go to AutoZone, I'll probably pick up, I believe it's an 11 millimeter I don't think it's a 12. The 12 seemed to catch it though, but it didn't. You know, this is pretty long, but it didn't go in. So I think it's an 11, but we'll find out when I go to AutoZone and grab the 11, and then if that's loose, we'll just use this to put it back on. Okay, let me get the gasket prepped and ready. We'll be back. We got our. Gonna show you something. Got the new thing up there. I just used a couple of the old bolts to hold it up. I got this in. Unfortunately, I'm gonna say this. I don't know. I don't think they kind of knew what they're doing. The bolt is way too close here. You can't really get a socket on it. I got it most of the way with a socket. Then I had to use a wrench to just tighten it up, and kind of hope that I got it tight enough for 21 foot-pounds, because I really can't put a thing on it. But it seems pretty tight. It's not going anywhere. You know, everything's seated. I did add some gear sealant to this, and now I put some gear sealant. What am I saying? RTV on that, and I really want to just get this sealed up. I know it's supposed to be, oh, you put the gasket on, you're supposed to do those dabs, and everything is supposed to work out hunky-dory, but I've had it where it leaks, and I just don't want to deal with this again. So with that being said, we're gonna put the oil pan in. Let's just get everything together. Where's it? I got the new bolts here. Got a couple. I'm going to try to do the four corners. This should be held up with something, but I'm not even seeing where that went. Probably got some gear sealant on that. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Really? Oh. Oh, that's wonderful. I gotta remove this. Holy shit. Alright guys, so unfortunately I don't know what's going on with this, but the bolt holes are all lined up across the back. As you can see, I have one in there and one on the other side to hold the pan up. You check this out. The front does not line up, and I can see that this hole on the one corner over here lines up, the hole on that corner lines up, but the front seems to be stretched, or seems to be short. And I can see through the gasket where the holes are, so I know that this pan is short. So for anybody that thought of doing this, I will tell you, don't do it. Just either try to find a different aftermarket pan or just go with the stock OEM, because obviously this does not work for this one. Because if I line this up, I know the rear bolts will not line up, and that doesn't make sense to me either. So with that being said, because I'll show you here, see the rear holes are lined up. I'm not too far back. That's correct. That's back there. I got nothing for you guys. So I gotta take this pan off. I gotta clean this and clean up everything, and then I just called AutoZone and ordered me a new pan. I'm going to clean this up and I'm just going to return this back to Summit. But I would say Moroso, you guys need to do better. I mean, what is this? Like, how is this half? And it said it was for a Gen 3 Hemi plus a Hellcat, but I'm wondering if they mean like I mean, Gen 3 Hemi usually refers to like a 5.7, but I'm guessing it falls in all the other categories with the 6.1 or whatever other one, so it might be for those blocks and not actually for a 5.7. But anywho, do some research, and I'm just gonna put a stock pan in this. All right, guys. So when we'll touch base on that one. But hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. You know, like, subscribe, save these videos. Obviously, I'm showing you that this pan doesn't work, and I spent a lot of money with Summit Racing to get it out to me, and I didn't rush the shipping or anything like that, just normal shipping. But now, you know, this kind of gets me stuck. I'm gonna get the stock oil pan in tomorrow, according to AutoZone. It'll be in tomorrow morning, so I'm gonna get that, and then I'll put that in, and it'll hopefully work out. And I'm gonna put the oil filter. Good thing I didn't cut out the not cut out, but like good thing I didn't take out the oil filter cooler. I'm gonna put that back in, and I'll have everything back to normal. All right, thanks. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Later.